want no more. Thank you, Lord, for being my shepherd, and I shall not want. Lord, thank you. Thank you for another golden opportunity to stand and reason with your people out of your eternal word. Though we are not permitted to be together within 6 feet apart, but Lord, we can still preach your word, because your word will go everywhere, and it will not go and return void. Father, in the name of Jesus, bless us, keep us, and have mercy upon us. Bless this waiting congregation as we are scattered in the comfort of our home. Some may be on the job, some may be on the way to visit someone that might be sick. Father, in the name of Jesus, bless us, keep us, I pray. Lord, in your name we pray. Amen. Certainly it's good to be able to say that we have the opportunity and the privilege and the help given by God.
Amen.
To stand and to preach God's word. Lord, we thank you that you still allowed us, though there are certain restrictions over the country and perhaps all over the land, that we're still able to preach your word. We want to take this time, because it's the Saturday just before the second Sunday in May, which is celebrated as Mother's Day. Though we're not together this time celebrating Mother's Day, but in the comfort of our homes, where we may have to be, I want to say Mother's Day to all of the mothers. The question was asked, who is your mother? And it was answered, the one that does the will of the Lord is your mother, your sister. The same is your brother. So who is the mother? The one that doeth the will of the Lord. I invite your attention today to a very familiar chapter in the book of Luke, the Gospel of Luke, Luke chapter 15. And let us begin with verse 17. And it reads, "And when he came to himself, he said, How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger. I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father," concluding with excerpts from the 20th verse. And my subject is coming home. I guess by now you know that I'm talking about the prodigal son. This chapter, this 15th chapter, reveals three parables the parable of the lost sheep, the parable of the lost coin, and the parable of the prodigal son. Jesus, while in proximity of Jerusalem, was speaking to the multitude about religious rules and familiarities. When came the publicans, sinners, and the Pharisees, then Jesus spoke this parable in answer to the petrified Pharisees. And they were murmuring. They were complaining. And they were accusing Jesus of slumming. Now, they say, out of all things, he takes time out with sinners. He goes home, sits down, and eats with them. Now, that's the best recommendation they could have given Jesus, because he saved a sinner like me. And that's why I love the Lord. Now, this son, this boy, this prodigal son, went to his father. He was courteous and made a fatal demand. Father, give me the portion that falleth to me. And his father did as he promised, that he would give unto them his goods.
Amen.
He gave his son his portion of goods. And I imagine they had a going away celebration party.
Yes.
The previous night before his departure. Look with me now. He intended for the sons to get an equal portion of his assets. But I'm thinking that he had a particular time in order to give. But the younger son got anxious.
Amen.
He got in a hurry. And I want mine now. And sometime now is too soon.
Amen.
Sometime now is too late.
Amen.
But he asked for his portion. And the father, being a loving, giving father, gave him his portion. And the next morning, the very next morning, after, I imagine, the party they gave him, a tender scene took place at the gate. There the father is giving his son the final words of counsel. He said to his son, when you get where you are going, spend your money wisely.
All right.
And save some. And not only that, he said, but watch out for the crowd in which you run. Now, thinking that they gave him a going away party, his mother was there. And his mother was standing there and weeping. I wasn't there, but I imagine she pressed an Old Testament in the young man's hand. And said to him, son, read it and remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Amen.
The men that was at the party, I would think, patted him on his back. And the women that was there said, "Son, we will pray for you." As he departed to a far country, a country where he would go to dancing, he would go to drinking, and he would go to spending his money lavishly and continue sinning. Now, this boy left home yielding to sin. Now, sin will put a distance between man and God.
Amen.
Am I not right about that?
Amen.
Sin sponsors every trip away from God. Howbeit, a person who will follow Satan and not be ruled by God will be compelled to serve Satan. A person who lives to do as he likes will become a slave to his likes. A person who does as he pleases is seldom pleased with what he does.
Amen.
Look with me again at this boy. He wanted to leave home because he was tired of parental instruction.
Come on.
And he was just homesick. Now, a person who is always saying he is sick of home will soon be homesick. So when the prodigal son reached his far country, where he did not have to worry about family, he didn't have to worry about friends, he didn't have to worry about his mother and his father dropping in without an invitation, just coming for the weekend. Now he could act as he pleased.
All right.
He could stay out all night long.
I like that.
He could party to the going down of the sun. But do you know you don't have to go out of town to be in a far country? One can be in a far country right in their living room. The family at the table eating, and one is there with his mind someplace else. One can be in the church.
Amen.
But as the songwriter said, his body was in the church, but his mind was on the other side of town.
All right, Pastor.
So you see, you don't have to leave home to be in a far country. When you step out of the path of the right, you have stepped into a far country. So when the boy got there in the far country, it was not long living and spending lavishly that he was financially disabled.
Come on.
All of his money now is about gone down to the bottom. He got hungry, and he looked around and he was friendless. Because a lot of time when you have much to offer, you will have much to share it with. Then after he was broke, he was hungry, and he was friendless, then came the pig pen. Now rewind just a moment, if you will. There are 3 parables, as was stated, in this chapter concerning the lost. The lost sheep, the lost coin, and the lost son, and how they were restored. Now, when the sheep was lost, the shepherd went out and looked and found the lost sheep.
Amen.
I imagine put the little lamb up on his shoulder and brought him back to the fold.
All right.
Now that's the sheep.
Yes.
When the coin was lost, the woman that lost the coin lit a candle, and she swept and swept and swept, and she searched and swept and searched until she found the lost coin. And when she found the lost coin, she invited her friends to come over and celebrate with her concerning the lost coin that she had found. But look with me here as we slightly shift. But the boy that was lost in the far country, he had separated himself from his family, from his friends,
Yes.
from his mother and father's teaching, Sunday school on Sunday morning, revivals periodically, prayer meeting, Bible study. He was separated. He had gone into a far country where this was not practiced. But when he was lost, no one came to find him. He was lost, no one came searching for him. He had to come to himself. Then he didn't know what he was going to do. Being broke, being hungry, he went from door to door, from factory to factory. He went from farms to farm seeking employment because he was on his own now. Didn't have his father he could depend on. Didn't have his mother to wake him up and say, all right, son, breakfast is ready.
Right.
Or what do you want this morning for breakfast? He found out he was alone. So this man that was a native of that country where he was had some hogs. And he couldn't get rid of the young man. The young man just wouldn't go. He just wouldn't quit. So he finally gave him a job. He said, go yonder and slop the hogs and feed husk to the swine and go take a job. And I imagine while he was sitting up on the pig pen, he was looking down at how those pigs were eating. And those pigs were eating so good that if he wasn't hungry, it would have made him hungry.
Right.
So he looked in the pig pen and looked deep enough and saw himself. Remember now, the sheep, the shepherd went and fetched the sheep. The lost coin, the woman swept till she found it. But the prodigal son, no one would look for him. No one would help him. He was on his own. So he looked into the pig pen and saw himself and said, how many of my father's hired servants have more than enough? And here I am, his son.
All right.
Amen.
Hallelujah. And I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I won't get out of here. I'm gonna get on back home. And you know, when I get back home, I'm not gonna brag and boast. When I get back home, I'm not gonna wait till I get a new suit of clothes to wear. I'm not gonna wait until it's a convenient time. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go now. And when I get back, I'm going to go about it the right way. I'm not going to talk about the ragged preacher caused me to leave. I'm not going to talk about the crooked deacons caused me to leave home. I'm not going to talk about the hypocrites that might be in the church caused me to leave home. I'm just going to go back home to my Father. And it's a good idea today for anybody that don't know the Lord and the free will pardoning of your sins. So now when he got up and started headed toward home, his father praying for him all the time, looked and saw his son coming. Shoes was gone from his feet. Clothes were raggedy and falling off his back. And he called his servants and he said, call in all of my help. I want to have a celebration.
Amen.
He said, now what I want you to do is go and kill the fatted calf.
Yes.
In other words, he didn't say go kill a hog.
All right.
That we could have a pork chop dinner.
Come on, Pastor.
We could have a ham sandwich. We could have some chitlins. He said, don't worry about the hog, but kill the fatted calf.
Yeah.
That's some beef in there. And the reason he chose beef over the hog, over pork, because he didn't want the young man to be reminded of where he came from. And the Lord is like that. The Lord is like that. He will not remind you of your wrongdoing. He will not remind you of your sin. And everybody applauded him. Everybody was glad to see him come back. Everybody was happy for the young man. But one was not happy, and that was his oldest brother. All right. And I stopped by to tell you that there's always going to be somebody to criticize you. Always going to be somebody to make fun of you. But if you have strayed away, today is the day to come back to the fold. Tomorrow might be too late. The sun might shine on your grave. If I were you, I believe I would come back home to where the Lord first met me at. I would come back. I would come back home and give the Lord my soul. Give him the rest of my life. I don't know today. I don't know today. We don't have a congregation here, but those that were so nice to sing and play music from our choir. But we're so grateful today that somebody might hear this broadcast. If somebody today don't know Jesus and the free will pardoning of your sins, we invite you to come to Jesus. You don't have to be in my reach, or that far country can be as far as your ears to this few scattering remarks. If you're saved today, wherever you are, whatever condition you're in, you're unsaved today, you just need prayer. If you know the Lord and need prayer, all of us need prayer. But especially to those that might be unsaved to hear this broadcast, ask that you would just bow your head if you can. If it's possible, convenient, and safe, just bow your head and just concentrate on your soul and your salvation. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If a man, he says, hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and sup with him and he with me. May we pray. Guide me, O thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. I am weak, but thou art with thy powerful hand. Bread of heaven, bread of heaven, feed me till I want no more. Lord, in the name of Jesus, have mercy, Lord, I pray. Somebody needs to make a decision today. Coming home, never more to roam. Open wide thy arms of love. Lord, I'm coming home. Did you tell him? Did you tell him? Then somebody needs to confess. Make a confession to the Lord and say, I wasted many precious years. Now I'm coming home. I now repent with bitter tears. Lord, I'm coming home. After your decision and after your confession, then you can tell the Lord, I wander far away from God. Now, Lord, I'm coming home. The path of sin, too long I've trod. Lord, I'm coming home. All you got to do is just turn it over to the Lord and tell the Lord, Lord, I'm coming home. One moment. Just give the Lord one moment of sincerity and dedication. You can make a change in your life. If you're in the pig pen of life, you have to make the decision to turn, come to the Lord. No one will take some of these habits from you. You have to make the decision and say, Lord, I'm coming home, and I know there's no room for that there, and lay it away. As the prodigal son did. Have to turn it over to the Lord. Lord, anyone unsaved today? Oh, Jesus! If they just say, Lord, save my soul. Save me! Save me! Save me, Lord! Save me, Lord! You said you will save. Whatsoever man asks, God, in his name believe, he will believe. May God bless you. May God keep you. May heaven smile upon you. Oh, yes. Come by.